So we finally have an idea of how long Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be. Now, of course, what is said in this video may not be how long it actually is. It could be even longer, maybe even shorter, depending on how you play the game. But we finally have an idea of how much content Kingdom Hearts 3 might end up having and how long the main story, including the extra stuff, may end up being when we finish the game. Here to discuss all of that with me is my friend, the Frozen Cavern. Say hello.
What's going on, my fellow residents? It's me, the Frozen Cavern, and today I'm here to discuss everything, Prodigy just mentioned.
Players can now equip up to 3 different Keyblades at once, which we know. They can also level up each Keyblade to make them stronger. Before, there was no incentive to continue using Keyblades obtained from previous worlds, since the newer Keyblades were more powerful. Now Keyblades you have a fondness for are viable even later in the game, since you can level them up. So I think that is very interesting. It's funny because I was listening to a conversation yesterday with some friends of mine, and we were talking about how it would be really cool if you were able to level up your Keyblades similar to how you are in Union Cross. I know not a lot of people love Union Cross, but there are a lot more people that do enjoy that game, and technically that is the most popular Kingdom Hearts game, so there is that. But I was thinking to myself, like, what if this was in Kingdom Hearts 3? That would be such a cool system to implement. It seems like with Kingdom Hearts 3, they're going to be putting a lot more effort into the Keyblades, given beforehand there was a lot of effort put into them as well, because in Kingdom Hearts 2, Keyblades did different things. Like you had Thunder Boost on some Keyblades gave you more drive orbs when you fought Heartless, Nobodies, etc. So I think this is very cool, and I wonder if, like, when you level up a Keyblade, it looks different, similar to how Union Cross has it.
I am really glad that they're doing something like this, because Kingdom Hearts 1 also had something similar to this, but it wasn't as too great of an effect as Kingdom Hearts 2 did. And with the whole not really having an incentive to use previous Keyblades, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance were like the biggest victims of this, because literally there was like one Keyblade in the game that you got from Neverland, but you would literally never use it because you would get another stronger Keyblade afterwards, and it annoyed me to no living end. And I think when it comes to leveling up Keyblades, I think Recoded actually has something similar to that as well.
Well, adding to that, I definitely feel like this is a great system that they're adding into Kingdom Hearts 3. I was talking about my previous video, I believe the video about Riku's Keyblade origin, where I was saying how in previous games like Dream Drop and Birth by Sleep, your level ups were tied a lot more to your commands and Dream Meters and such, and in Kingdom Hearts 3 they're kind of going to be trying to implement that, but it's going to be more towards the traditional system that you see in KH1 and 2, where you just defeat Heartless and Nobodies, and you gain XP for it. Maybe you gain XP from minigames and stuff too, but in Kingdom Hearts 3, I like that they're able to level up Keyblades, because it's going to make older Keyblades more useful later on in the game, and I think that this adds a lot of variety. Like, same thing with the Keyblade switching. Like, that's, I can imagine, like, going into certain boss fights, you want to have these different mixtures of Keyblades, like one Keyblade that has maybe a boss is weaker to thunder, maybe have a Keyblade that has a thunder boost on it, or a Keyblade that has a fire boost on it going to a boss battle, or a Keyblade that does a little bit more damage but gives you a little less magic strength, things like that. I think that's something that adds a lot to the combat of Kingdom Hearts, which people are looking at a lot for Kingdom Hearts 3, because the previous games didn't satisfy everyone like KH1 and 2 did when it comes to combat. So it's very good they're adding a lot to that.
Right, and then like another thing is that it also adds a lot more diversity in people like playing the game. Like, some people would probably prefer to like use the newer Keyblades, and then there are some other people that would like go back and play with some of the other weapons that you get beforehand, and it can make a lot of really interesting things. I wonder how that's going to affect speedrunning, by the way. I just thought about that.
May make speedruns very different, of course everyone's like, as speedrunning evolves, like everyone eventually, like a month or two after a game comes out, it always gets to a point where it's like, okay, you need to do this and this. But I can imagine KH3 being a game where you're constantly learning new strats over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, etc., because of how much is in the game, how many options you do have. In addition to the main story, players can look forward to several mini games. One is a cooking game with Remy from Ratatouille. You must find ingredients hidden across several of the worlds and use them to create new recipes. There are 20 different old school Tiger Toys / games and watch style 2D side-scrolling games based on Mickey cartoons from the 1930s and 40s. Building your gummy ship used for traveling to each world world is pretty much a mini game of its own. Kingdom Hearts 3 is around 40 to 50 hours if you stay on the critical path, including the mini games. Players can expect 80 plus hours of content. Now, 80 plus hours of content, that is very good for Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, specifically, they say if you stay on the critical path. I don't necessarily know what that means. Maybe that means that critical mode gives you more content, which I don't know how I feel about that. Like, let's say that is the case. Of course, all of this is from a PR representative from Square Enix, so it's not actually from Nomura. It's from a PR representative, so maybe they know. I'd assume that they're right about this, but you know, you never know with some things like this. But assuming that they're right,
I think it might just mean that it's just a story mode in general, because I am expecting Kingdom Hearts 3 to be a pretty long game, considering that it has to wrap things up for a lot of people. Going for 80 plus hours for everything else, oh goodness, that's gonna take a good amount of time. And it's just saying the mini games, it's going to add it up to 80 plus. It's not even including like some of the other things, like any form of extra bosses. Unless the mini games technically count as those, but I feel like they should be listed differently. But like if there's any extra bosses, and then like synthesis grinding, if there is, there more than likely will be, like all the mini games like was stated. That is quite a lot, and I thought Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix had quite a bit of stuff. If I remember correctly, I think someone stated that at some point they were like running out of disk space, and like there's like some deleted content, and there's stuff like that for every game, but like the amount that I can just imagine that is taken out from this game alone because they're running out of disk space. It's not just like they're taking it out because they don't want it. It's just they don't have the room for it.
Right, I totally agree with you on that. But thank you guys for coming to today's video. I really do appreciate the Frozen Cavern for coming on this video with me, talking about this. I really does mean a lot to me. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace out.